advances to the Final Four.
Shout out Chillinois Basketball Podcast.
Shout out to Chillinois Podcast.
Shout out Chillinois Podcast.
Shout out Chillinois Basketball, man.
Well, just when Illini fans and Noah and I thought it couldn't get any better, couldn't start going any better, it only gets worse, of course. Shocking news this morning. Happy birthday to me. I woke up and saw that KYLAN Boswell has fractured a bone in his right hand. I'm only laughing because this seems to happen every year with the Illini. I'm not laughing at the fact he got injured. But let's go down the list here, Noah. I want to start it off with a quick stat I saw. Uh, 2026 tie out. KYLAN fractures his right hand right before a crucial stretch of quad one away road games. We have Purdue on Saturday, and then we've got Nebraska the week after in Lincoln. 2025, Kasparis injures his arm, is never the same. Morris breaks his wrist. Team is racked by illness all February to the point that we don't even shake hands with Wisconsin after the game. Remember that? Brad was like, nope, everybody to the locker room. We're not shaking hands with anybody. We're too sick. 2024, Terrence Shannon Jr., our All-American, was accused of rape. He was found innocent. Extremely bogus sexual assault charge. I mean, the team stepped up in that season and did well without him. But nonetheless, another weird season. Year before that, Sky Clark quit the team. I think that was the Matthew Mayer year with where he like over caffeinated himself on Monster Energy and stayed up until 4 in the morning the night before a game. So another year, a weird year for that one. 2022, concussion Curbelo, who turned into Antonio Brown for a little bit. Remember that?
Yeah, I mean that was an insane year.
Yeah, and
Every
that was
year it seems with Illinois, there's some storyline to
I'm not
follow.
even done. I'm not even done yet. That was the same year that team had pink eye for the tournament. Somehow we got pink eye. I don't know who was doing that or messing around and getting pink eye, but and then 2021, the year with AO, he got knocked in the face in that Michigan State game with Matty Sissoko, that flagrant foul that broke his nose. He ended up doing well in the Big Ten tournament and ended up getting that cool like Kobe Bryant masked AO picture after they won the tournament. But nonetheless, this team cannot escape adversity. We were talking about it last episode. We were like, wow, this might be the year we finally get away. Like the flu almost hit us, but somehow David came around and the team wasn't sick after Iowa tried to give us the plague. And then I don't know. There's been freak injuries all season with KYLAN in the Missouri game and his shoulder, and Andre and his rolled ankles, and then Petrovic, who's going to be probably a more important player now, but he had a hamstring injury, and then Ty Rogers, who's been out all season. We just can't catch a break with this team, man, and it just sucks for the Illini because this was the year that like it just seemed like they finally were getting over all of that and not letting adversity hit them. And you can't really plan for a thing like this, but you've got your star point guard out until February. That's what Brad says. So, what are your initial thoughts on that? I'm sorry for that monologue early, but I wanted to talk about how cursed this Illini team seems to be, right in the middle of sage burning season, as I alluded to on our Instagram story earlier.
Yes. So my initial thoughts are that we need to correct your Illini pronunciation. You say Ao, it
Io, I'm sorry.
Io, and you say Matthew Mayer, and it's Matthew Meyer.
Matthew Meyer.
It's the I pronunciation that you have a problem
Well, I
with.
mean,
Illini.
I'm still on Keaton Wagler or Wagler,
You're
so
in the Balkan mindset.
yeah.
No, it's very unfortunate, but I'm looking at it. I'm trying to spin zone it. I'm trying to look at it positive. I'm trying to look at it from the Petra perspective, but it's really hard to look over the fact that Boswell's, defensive, just his power. I mean, his presence is going to be missed. I mean, there's nobody that can replicate that on the team, at least. I mean, maybe Ty Rogers, but I guess word on the street is he's not ready to come back. Apparently, Brad said that he hurt his groin. I don't know. I mean, I've had groin injuries myself, but it's not basketball related. We'll leave it at that. So I know that it can have some long recovery time. So we wish him well. I mean, at this point, I hope he just sits out the rest of the year and we have a fresh, healthy tie for next season. But no, it's one of those things where it's Murphy's Law. Everything that will go bad does go bad for this Illini team, even when you feel like I mean, everybody's talking about it. The January stretch every year is when something bad happens with Illinois, and of course, it happens right now in the middle of January. I mean, I guess it's better it happened now instead of a month from now, and then he's out for the tournament. So we'll have him back for the March Madness tournament, and hopefully back for the Michigan game. That's really all I care about. It will be upsetting having him out for this next stretch of games for the rest of the month because there's some three toughest road games coming up are games that he'll miss, presumably. Now, if we remember last year, Merez, he broke a bone and it was like, oh my God, he's done for the year. We don't know. And then all of a
Well,
sudden he
remember,
comes back and Illinois is like, oh, he's back. We healed him. We have the best program of all time, Coach
yeah,
Fletcher.
remember there was some like anonymous, like she was like an Illini grad that was like an orthopedic surgeon, and she built him this crazy cast that like I don't know the science behind it
We
all,
need
but
her back right now for
yeah, we need
Kylan
her right now.
Boswell. Come
And
back and build him a super cast. And I think the reason he got injured is because he hasn't done the Sage. He did the Sage last year, didn't get hurt. No Sage this year, gets hurt.
well, I was skeptical about the Sage train because last year, if you remember, he did bring the Sage, and then they had that weird losing streak where Kasparis hurt his wrist, and then Tomislav got injured, and then they wouldn't shake hands with teams after games because they were so sick. So the Sage last year seemed to hurt them.
Well, the reason they were sick is because their team was all Balkan and they don't have the same diseases over there. So they come over here and they get the flu and it's like they're not used to it. Their immune system's not used to it. It's like the Spanish when they brought smallpox. So that's the problem is we don't have any American immune systems, so they're all getting compromised. But I do remember that and honestly, I think I was thinking about it earlier and Kylan's probably the second most important person that I don't want getting injured. I think Keaton would have been the worst, but I think second probably is Kylan. I think anybody else on the team, it would not have been as impactful. Maybe you can make an argument for like Merck, but even Merck, I feel like you just run the Twin Towers lineup, which is what I want anyway, which is still a possibility even with Kylan going out. But with Kylan going out, he really offers that defensive you know, mindset that you just don't get from anybody else. And you hope that they can step up and try to fill in his shoes, and maybe they will. I'm expecting that to happen in the Maryland game. I'm expecting them to, go like, okay, guys, we really got to lock in defensively, and they're going to make an effort out of it. But I worry in the coming month if that's going to, continue. But it's, Kylan's one of those players where you're like, oh man, if he's out, it's really tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, and so if we were trying to spin this positively, first positive note is that it's not a season-ending injury, at least from what Brad says. Now it is his right hand, which is his shooting hand, so that could have some lingering effects potentially. I don't think it'll hurt him too much defensively, but as a guy who already isn't shooting great on the season from three, this
I
doesn't
say
bug.
just stick him in there with a cast and don't even shoot the ball. Just have him play defense. And he doesn't even, and you just catch it and pass it. And that's all you got
I
to
had
do.
that same thought earlier, and most of his production, at least getting points, is at the free throw line or like getting to the lane and scoring on a layup. So that would be hard to do with a cast on, but the 3-point shooting isn't necessarily like a huge loss for the Illini. Nonetheless, he should be back by the middle of February. If we're going to look at the games that he should potentially miss, we can speculate here when his return might be. But the earliest, if it's like middle of February, he would miss obviously the Maryland game, which is tomorrow. At the time of recording, it will be tomorrow. He's probably not probably he is going to miss the December 20 or January 24th trip to Purdue. Um, then you got Washington at home. That should be somewhat of a reasonable win at home if you're looking optimistically for the Illini. At Nebraska, which will obviously be a tough test, having lost to Nebraska at home already this season. At home versus Northwestern, Michigan State on the road, which is another ranked matchup. So you got three ranked matchups in this stretch.
I'll
Then
say at home Northwestern
potentially,
scares me right off the bat. At home Northwestern scares me because
no, we beat the crap out of
but
Northwestern.
you're talking about what teams are going to be able to take advantage of Boswell being out. It's teams with good guards. Washington, they don't scare me because their number one guy, he's their big man.
On
I don't think
Steinbeck, yeah.
He's not going to get past Big
So you
Z and
think because we
Mertens.
don't have Kylan, they're gonna have Jaden Reed score 40 more points against us?
Yes, he did
No,
it already.
no.
And
We'll talk about
Martinelli's
that in the Northwestern preview when we get to
Martinelli,
it.
the
But
only reason Martinelli didn't go off is because Kylan Boswell was clamping him up. That was the story of the
we
night. No
blow
Boswell, no
Northwestern
clamp.
out. We blow Northwestern out in the State Farm Center, historically at least. But I
I
mean,
hope
that's
you're
down the
right.
road. And then if you're looking at like a potential return, maybe February 10th at home against Wisconsin, which is a bigger game than we initially thought, just because Wisconsin recently beat Michigan and they look like a better Big Ten team than people were thinking.
I
John
would be
Blackwell.
surprised if he's back that early. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things. Brad keeps these cards so close to his chest where it's like he could probably pop up
And
in the
they make this
Northwestern
stuff
game.
up all the time. They always overestimate how long somebody will be out. I mean, Ty Rodgers, it was like, oh, he'll be out the whole season, no question. I mean, they
Yeah,
literally said he may
they
never
said
play
career
basketball again.
ending. They
Yeah, they
said
said he'll
career
never
ending.
play again. And then now it's like he can basically play, but we just don't want him to. So this is
Yeah.
what Brad does. And that's what he
No,
did with Merez last year. They're like, "Oh, he's back. We're freaks of nature. We have an insane program." It's like maybe all he did was stub his toe. It's like who knows?
well, that's what I'm saying. Like last year with the Murez injury, like he had that injury and then he was quiet for a few weeks, and there was like some rumblings about him getting back in practice, and then all of a sudden they had that huge Instagram post with like the Bionic Man, and we made him in a lab, and it's like Murez steps out of the fucking locker room, and it's like, oh, he's back. So,
Titanium rods, like
yeah,
brr.
you never know. They might just be hyping this up. Maybe Brad said, for the plot, like we're just gonna have you sit a few games, Kylan,
There's
pretend
no
you're
injury at all. Kylan
yeah.
just wanted to take a vacation. He's like, Coach, I want to take a trip to Bermuda. Like, just take me out. Say I fractured my hand and I'll come back in 2 weeks. It'll be a super freak heel.
Nonetheless, like we don't know what's going on with this program. Maybe Sahil could actually answer that question. I'm sure he'll have a cast on it at some point that'll get a picture out on the internet. But as far as what this means for the Illini going forward, we'll talk more specifically about their Maryland game in a few minutes here because that is tomorrow. But in terms of like the longer stretch, obviously our first initial thoughts were time for Mihailo Petrovic to step up, and I think Petrovic stepped up pretty well in the last game. I'm not sure I would like hand him the keys to the offense, but in his last performance, it had some positive. He had some positive play, and it had a little bit of optimism going forward. Now, you don't want Kylan to go down, obviously, but it's like it couldn't have happened at a better time if you were going to be the Illini, because Petrovic looks like he might actually be okay. And if any team were going to have an injury, a significant injury to their best player, I don't think any team is as well equipped as this Illini team to handle it. Excuse me, I think this Illini team is well equipped in the cut. I'm really butchering this. I think this
We're
Illini
deep.
team.
We're deep, is what you're
Yes,
saying.
that's the point I'm trying to make here. If any other team were to have this injury, I think it's a season-ending, ruining the season type of injury for that team. This Illini team, I think they've battled with adversity in the past. Now, only a few players have dealt with that in the past, but um, I think they have the depth to have other players step up. We're looking at Petrovic, obviously, but I think I think Jake Davis is going to be important here. And Kylan plays a lot. I think he averages like 36 or 37 minutes a game for the Illini, but it doesn't look like the offense is completely inept when he's not on the floor. It's mostly running through Keaton. I think obviously this is going to be a defensive hindrance to their team, but they're priding themselves on their offense right now. That's what they're best at. They're number 3 or 2 in Ken Palm since I last looked, but I don't think it hurts the offense all too much. But if you had to guess, like what do you think this do you think this is I mean, this could be a thing where we see Brad like adjust against Maryland and it goes off the rails and we lose to Maryland and then we are like, all right, we're just playing big the rest of the season. And it's be Keaton, Andre, and Big Z and Big T and Merkovich in for 36 minutes a game, and we're just gonna bully every team because we're taller than them. Um, but where are
Yeah.
your thoughts on this whole situation?
I think Brad's looking at it kind of like I'm looking at it. He's excited about it because it just gives him another hurdle to leap over, and it also gives Illini fans another excuse. I know that that's what everybody's been saying, but it's true. I mean, we love our excuses and we'll use them all day long because it's true. I mean, your star guy gets his hand fractured and he's out a month. That sucks. That just sucks. And I mean, not that I think Illinois was going to win the Big Ten before because it's super tough this year, really top heavy, but. Now I really don't think they stand a chance. I think before they stood a chance, but with Kylan being out, it's the possibilities are endless. I mean, your two possibilities that I'm most excited about. Number one, obviously, Petro takes off and is the star that he wanted to be and that we wanted him to be, and everybody loves him, and he's like, oh my God. The best case scenario would be he excels and then ends up coming back and plays an even bigger role next year. I mean, that'd be great. Why, you want the retention. Brad Underwood loves the retention. So with the Petrovic angle, everybody loves that. I'm loving the Twin Towers angle. You run Keaton, Andre, you go Merck at the three, you go Big Z and Big T. And that lineup would be Sports Center, check this out. This is crazy. Because you're talking, I mean, that would have to be maybe the biggest lineup in NCAA history. I mean, I would be very curious actually to see what that stat would be. But it would be insane. And it would also be very exciting too, because you're talking threes, you're talking rim protection out the wazoo, you're talking, Merc booty ball, kick out to, oh my dude, it's pure poetry. I would love to see that. And even Brandon Lee, I mean, Brandon Lee could take a big step up here because he kind of reminds me of KYLAN Boswell. He's a pretty tough defender and he's really quick and he's really, just in your face, right on top of you. So I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do. I mean, like I'd already mentioned, this is very reminiscent of the TSJ situation because it's like who's going to step up. And if you remember that first game, those first couple games, Illinois like smacked, I can't remember who it was. I think the first game back they played was a pretty easy team, but they put up like over 100 points, and we were like, oh, they're going to be just fine. We're not too worried. And then they ended up doing pretty good over that stretch when Terrence was out. They lost a couple games, but they overall they did a lot better than we were, you know, expecting them to when all that news broke. So right now, I think everybody's kind of in that same situation, like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Kylan's out. He's our best defender. And then you can look at it from this way too. Sure, Kylan will have his games where he'll, lock the other person up and they can't do anything about it. But then he'll have games where, Sanford goes off or whoever. I mean, there have been just as many games where Kylan's done really well. There's the same amount of games where the other person's gone off for 30 or 40. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. So it's like if you don't have Kylan in there, are you really missing too much? Now, I think where you're gonna really miss Kylan is just his pressure, especially lately. It seems he's been ramping it up and really making that an emphasis. And I mean, what was the game? Was it Martinelli when he picks his pocket and he's like, "Rah," he's barking in his face. I mean, just like that kind of junkyard dog mentality. That's really what you're gonna miss with Kylan. But in terms of offense, I mean,
Catches it.
it might be a more, thrilling, high scoring offense than we've ever seen with this Illini team. So it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I don't know if you heard that little soundbite in the back there. I was trying to pull it up. If you remember correctly, it was 2022. Yeah, 2022. When I'm sorry, Io had broken his nose the game before against Michigan State, or maybe it was two games previously. I don't remember the exact timeline. But the number four Illini then went into Michigan at Michigan, who was number two at the time, and they beat them by a final score of 76 to 53. So I mean, we've seen this team in the past with different players, obviously, but we've seen this team lose important players and then step up. Like we've had players who I mean, we could see Ben Humrickhouse be all world in this next two games against Purdue and Maryland, but um, I, I I don't
I'm
know.
expecting Petro to go crazy because if we remember, the comparison earlier in the season with Petrovic was that he's Braden Smith, but not as good of a passer. So I'm hoping they go into Mackey Arena and imagine that Petrovic outperforms Braden Smith. I mean, oh my God, people would just lose their minds. Twitter would go
Braden
crazy.
Smithovich, but it's just Mihailo Petrovic.
It's just 4'7" Mahalo just whoop 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 whoo. Harlem Globetrotters in that place. Oh man, that would be amazing.
And like we said, he did look good in his last performance. So there's like a positive wave of energy to be ridden on his performances. But let's step into the next game now because it is tomorrow. We'll do a brief preview of this one. Not necessarily sure the KYLAN injury hurts them all too much in this one, besides the fact that it's like, oh, our best player is injured. Like now we're all freaking out, maybe. Who do we go to? I think this Illini team has a little bit more mental strength than to let this like interfere with the game. Like if this was the Purdue game we were going into and KYLAN gets injured the day before the Purdue game, like we're screwed. That's obviously a huge knock to this team. But in this game against Maryland, where I don't know, Maryland's probably middle of the pack Big Ten. I think they have one Big Ten win right now. Let me check here.
Yeah, and I think it was
15th
their
in the Big
last game
Ten.
that they just played.
Yeah, no, they've won two or they've won one in a row against Penn State. And
They're not going to win two in a row, so
no,
good luck.
I don't think so either. But it is a Buzz Williams team, which historically is like they just play tough. They don't have a whole lot of size in terms of height, but they've got a whole lot of size in terms of weight. Um, Let me go down their roster here and just kind of highlight who I think might be an issue for this game. First, we got Diggy Coit, David Coit, Kansas transfer from last year, averaged 5 at Kansas last year. Now he averages 15 and a half per game. In the last two, he has had 30 points and 43 points. So this kind of seems like the Bruce Thornton guy if we're going to
How
have
many?
anybody. 30 and then 43 in the last game.
So
He had
that's
30.
why he's averaging so many. I mean, holy moly, that's
Yeah, no,
crazy.
I mean his last two games he was all world. They have Pharrell Payne who's injured right now. He was their best player to start the season. Then he did the splits after a dunk, like I was saying before the podcast, and he really hurt himself. Not sure what the timetable is him for.
Did he have a groin injury like Ty
He had a groin
Rogers?
injury and then he came back and then he hurt himself again in a pretty like it was a pretty nasty second injury too.
I know
So
about them groin injuries, man.
yeah.
Good.
Anyways, they're injury depleted, but they've got Diggy Coit right now with that name, and he's averaging what 35 and a half points per game in his last two. So it would only make sense for him to score about 40 on the Illini in this one without KYLAN Boswell playing. But other than that, like if he doesn't score 40, I don't think Maryland puts up over 70 points. I just don't see there's not a whole lot of production coming from anybody else. Um, Solomon Washington is their biggest player in terms of like if you put height and weight together. He's 6'7" and 220 pounds, averages 9.5 rebounds per game. So Mirkovic is going to have a battle with him. Tomislav and Zvonimir will also have their hands full with him. But like, we have enough size to get to match up with these guys. Kind of like we saw against Minnesota, kind of like we saw against Northwestern. I think what we're going to see is Maryland's going to make this a close game at halftime. I think there are going to be moments where it's like, wow, we look like crap without KYLAN in this game. But ultimately, I think the Illini come out and win this game by 10 or 11 points, like we saw against Minnesota, like we saw against Northwestern. And Illini fans don't love that. They're going to be in the forums and the message boards after, like, oh, we should beat this team by 30. And yeah, on paper and in Vegas, I think the line's 18 and a half, but I would be thrilled with a double digit win here at home. My score prediction, if I had to make one, would be I think the offense suffers a little bit, and I think our defense obviously suffers a little bit. So I'm going to go like 76 to 65, but I think it'll be close at halftime.
Yeah, I like I said earlier, I think that Illinois is gonna perform exceptionally well on defense to kind of prove a point like, hey guys, don't worry, we don't need KYLAN, we'll be okay. So I don't think Maryland's gonna score very many points. I think you're gonna see a very rowdy Illinois crowd because this is the first game back with students, right?
This will be the first game back with students.
Yeah, so they're gonna be very rowdy,
Confirmed.
ready to
100%
go.
confirmed.
Yeah, it's going to be an electric crowd, and the players are going to be hyped. They're going to want to out, perform for KYLAN, and everyone's going to just be in high spirits, hopefully. And people are saying, "Oh, they're looking past them, looking at the Purdue game, dude. You can't look past Maryland when we're 3-7 in the Brad Underwood era against them. It's
I
not
think
really
it was
possible.
3-9, no? Or is it 3-7?
One of the two. I mean, it's not good. So
No.
it's like either way, we're not looking past them. We very much know of Maryland, trust me. But this year, this Illinois team feels different. This Maryland team doesn't seem nearly as good as they have been in years past. I mean, they're not a tournament team. So, for that reason, I think Illinois should win no problem at all. I think, man, I mean, you could see this could be like an Oregon game last year where Illinois just goes crazy. I mean, I want to see 20 minutes of Petrovic. I want to see it. I want to see what he's capable of, even if he has five, six, seven turnovers. I want to see it because he could get 10, 11, 12 assists. I mean, if you're getting double your assists to turnovers, that's pretty good. That's what you want. So if he's able to do what he's capable of doing, he could easily do that. And we don't need him to be some crazy scorer because Kylan's not some crazy scorer. Kylan doesn't score 30 points a game. And he doesn't need to do that because we have so many scores. That's the thing. But with Petrovic, it really just frees up a lot of the ball handling because I've noticed a lot of times with Kylan, he'll just hold on to the ball, run down the shot clock, run it down, 10 seconds left, try to go for a play. Oh, he gets stopped. Oh, turnover, whatever. But with Petrovic, man, he's running right to the basket, kicking it out almost every time. Running to the basket, kicking it out. And if he's got an open lane, he'll take the shot. But it's exciting because I mean, it's something new, it's something that we've all, preseason, he was the guy. I mean, it was Keaton coming off the bench for Petro. He's the Adriatic League MVP. Obviously, he's going to be a starter. I mean, what are you talking about? So we've wanted it. We know he's capable of doing it. It's just a matter of him being comfortable. And Illinois is really pushing it. They posted the graphic for the game, and it's Petrovic. So I think they're leaning into it. Brad might be leaning into it a little bit, but I mean, we really won't know until we, turn on the TV tomorrow and see what happens. I will be curious to see who starts. People are saying maybe Jake Davis, maybe Ben. It could easily be either one. I think you look back historically, oh, it'll be Ben because Ben started last year, but you look at what Brad thinks of Jake this year and how vocal Jake's being and how much of a team player he is, and so it could easily be Jake. I'd be extremely surprised if they start the Twin Towers lineup. If anything, that seems like something that would be late first half, mid second half, just to get the crowd into it. But I'd personally prefer them to start. Eh, I just think Ben gives you a little bit more offensively than Jake. Jake is a better shooter, no doubt, but 3-point shooter. I think they're both pretty good defensively. They both can wall up pretty well. They're not the quickest or most athletic, but I think Ben offers you that booty ball. So I think maybe starting Ben might be the better option. But either way, you're going to need to see Petro or Brandon Lee step up. I mean, this is their time. This is what Petrovic has literally been waiting for since he arrived on campus is a moment for him to actually get some minutes and show, the world I can do it. I can handle college basketball. I can roll in the Big Ten. So it's, make or break for him. But final score prediction, I think Illinois is going to score a bunch. I'm going to go Illinois 93, Maryland 65. I mean, I think it's going to be a walloping. And I think Brad Underwood's going to go on the mic in the post game and he's going to, he's going to say the word elite probably 14 times. And we should have a over under for that actually and do a little drinking game, take a shot for every time Brad Underwood says the word elite in the post game conference, assuming we win, because if we lose, he won't say the word. But if we win, he will probably say it about 14 times. That is his favorite word. I mean, anything. I mean, oh, how athletic is Blake Fagbemi? Oh, he's elite athleticism. Oh, how good of a defender is Ben Hammerkaus? Oh, he's an elite defender. It doesn't matter. It's all elite with him. So I'm hoping that, he can at least say it 14 times. And I will be interested to see if anything comes of Tony Billich. I assume Ty Rogers not coming back. I would assume Tony Billich isn't going to play either, but it's a card that Brad Underwood has in his back pocket. So you never know if he's going to play it. But I'm expecting a big win from the Illini. So MVP, I mean, I'll just say it, Petrovic. I don't care. I mean, I want it to happen. I'll speak it into existence right now. Petrovic MVP. I'm going to say, and it's not even going to be because he's hot scored that many. I'm going to say 15 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. But it's just going to be the energy he provides is what's going to make him the MVP.
If Petrovic scores 15, 8, and 5, I don't know. We'll have to come up with something. I seriously doubt he's gonna have 15, 8, and 5. I think it'll be more like a 6, 3.
Don't sleep on him.
No, I'm not sleeping on him. I think he's gonna be really impactful. I think at the end of this game, if the Illini win, we'll say like, wow, he ran the offense really well. Um, but I just don't think he's gonna be like a leading scorer or anything. And I don't know, like the Illini team is so good at passing.
Nobody else predicted the 15-point Jake Davis game, but he got it.
True. All right. If it happens, it's gonna happen, and then I'll kiss your feet on the next episode or something. But um,
All right, bet.
back to the Petro point you were making. I think he's gonna be impactful in this one. Um, I also think we need to give you a quick shout out because ever since you posted that free Petro reel on our YouTube shorts, like of him trying to get in the huddle and it was like, get him in the huddle. He wants to be there. Uh, I mean, he came off the bench last game, provided a spark, and now he's not going to
He's
be.
going to be a starter now, dude.
No,
Brad
I don't know
Underwood
about. I
saw
would
that
be
and he's
shocked if
like,
he started, but
Brad
nonetheless, like,
saw that reel and he's like, you know what? This kid's right. Petro should be in the huddle.
yeah. So let's give a shout out to Noah for influencing Brad and letting Petro have his playing time. We didn't want Kylan to get injured, let's just say that. But uh, nonetheless, it's going to be an important game tomorrow, but I think we do get through this. I don't know if the Illini scored 90 points, like you said, but I hope they do. If I had one birthday wish for my 27th birthday, it's the Illini get a 30-point win at home against Maryland. I don't know. We're not going to be able to show it on the podcast unless I like share my screen or something, which I'm not going to do just for this quick picture. But if you can make the thumbnail the Coleman Hawkins picture of him flipping off everybody with the Maryland shirt on, I would very much appreciate that because it's a very great photo from what was it, 2 or 3 years ago now?
I'm going to make it Kylan with his hand chopped off.
I mean that I guess that makes sense too. That's a very
No, I'm
nice
not going to
dad.
do that. I wouldn't disrespect Kylan like that. I love Kylan. And honestly, I wish him well. I mean, I think we both do. Kylan's
Um,
an everyday guy. I mean, he
and he
bleeds
shouted us
orange.
out too. He said shout out Chillinois podcast, so
There you go. I mean,
he's
gotta
in
love
our
that
intro.
boy.
Anyways, game tomorrow against Maryland. That'll be at 6 p.m. at the State Farm Center, 6 p.m. Central Time. The Illini are now number 11 in the polls. They just moved up today from 13th. I like that spot for them just because I don't want them to get top 10. I think that puts too much of a target on their backs, especially with a team that is depleted by injury now. Um, I like when the Illini hover between the 13 and 15 range. There's also a little bit of talk, and we can briefly discuss this before the end of the podcast. Just like where their seating is probably going to be at now, if you factor in Kylan being out for most of these games, if you're really pessimistic about it, they probably end up as like a 4, 5, or 6 seed. I don't dislike that though. I know that hurts them in the fact that like when they get to later rounds, they'll have to play higher seeds potentially, unless there's upsets. But in the past, when the Illini have been higher seeds, they don't fare so well. We all remember that time when they were the 1 seed and they lost to Loyola in the second round. So I think this team having less of a target on its back and being more of the underdog bodes well for them. Um, but yeah, I mean, we could talk seeding real quickly as a last point. Do you see?
I want them to be a higher seed. I mean, you think back to
Fair.
the Terrence Shannon year, and they were like what, a 2 or 3 seed that year. So
3 seed, I think.
yeah, they were. I think they were a 3 seed, but
They were either a 3 or 4 because when they beat Iowa State, it was like a 2v3 match. No, it wasn't a 2v3. It was like a one
I
3v4
think
or something.
no, I think they were a 3. But no, I mean, That's the thing. They could have lost these three games with Kylan. I mean, at Purdue, at Michigan State, at Nebraska. Those are three really tough games. So we can't sit here and pretend like, oh, if Kylan was here, we'd win every game. It's like not necessarily. So I still think we have a shot. I mean, at this is the thing. Nebraska's really good. We know that. But at the end of the day, we lost on a buzzer beater three to Nebraska. So we can beat them. They're not some unbeatable team. And Illinois is, been known to go into the road and make some pretty big upsets. So it wouldn't, blow me away if Illinois ended up winning at Nebraska or at Michigan State. I think at Purdue is going to be really tough, especially without Kylan. I think that's the game where you want Kylan the most to match up against Braden. But I mean, Nebraska and Michigan State, there's still, I do wonder what those lines will be when they come out, but there's still a very good chance that Illinois can win those games without Kylan. Now, do I think they will? Probably not. I think that Illinois probably ends up finishing fifth in the Big Ten behind Purdue, Nebraska, Michigan, Michigan State. But still, I mean, fifth in the Big Ten this year is pretty damn good because the Big Ten is stacked. And so seed wise, you hate to see anything less than a five. I mean, five or higher would be ideal. Do I think they end up, like a two or three? Probably not. They probably end up closer to that four or five range. But still, they're going to be one of those five seeds that you don't want to see in the second round if you're, a two seed or whatever it ends up being. So I'm still positive. I'm still optimistic about this Illini team, even with the injury. You never know. I mean, maybe this is some crazy moment and just shifts the momentum of the team and they end up winning every game. And, you never know what's going to happen. You can just sit back and watch. But I'm sitting here and it's 2026, the year of the Illini. So all I can do is be positive.
Yeah, I mean, think best case scenario here. Best case scenario, while being realistic, the Illini maybe lose a few of those games on the road against ranked teams, but you get Petrovic some playing time. You get Kylan back by the middle of February, and you go on a win streak towards the end of the season. Maybe beat Michigan at home, go into the Big Ten tournament with some optimism. And then I think the most important part is, I mean, if you unlock Petrovic here and you get him playing like he was supposed to be playing in the offseason, like everybody was saying. I mean, that makes this team so much more dynamic, and we said that last podcast. But if you get Petrovic and Kylan like battling it out for starters minutes, do you know how good this team is going to be come March? Holy crap! Um, Nonetheless, it'll be tough sledding, but important game
Kylan's
against
gonna come back and Petra's gonna be like, "This is my team now. You
my
cannot
team
come
now.
back.
I am Luka Doncic. I wear
I am the
77.
captain now."
Yeah. So, anyways, tough sledding ahead, but we're optimistic. I think Brad Underwood and this Illini team are optimistic nonetheless. Important game against Maryland tomorrow. They need to take care of business, and then we'll get into talking about the Purdue game after that one. We will have a recap for the Maryland one, and then we'll have a very important preview for excuse me, the I almost said Derpoo, which is the correct pronunciation, but the Purdue game.
Derpoo. That's
Derpoo
what
or
they should be
Perdount or
called.
whatever you want to call them. The spoiler makers.
Yeah, dude. I hate Michigan. I hate Purdue slightly less than I hate Michigan, but I do hate them both.
I don't even think you like loathe Michigan, dude. You might have to get like a
I
doctor's.
only loathe Michigan now. Before Perez joined Michigan, I loathed Purdue when it was the whole Zach Edey era. I did really loathe Purdue. No, really, it's the Purdue fans that I loathed. The Purdue, and I'll say that to this day. The Purdue Boilermaker basketball fan base is the worst fan base, maybe in sports. It's
Oh,
terrible. I mean, when that Terrence Shannon thing happened, there was this dude who would just comment about that on every Illinois post for probably like a year and a half. Just he'd say the same thing every time. And they all have the same bios. It's like a picture of a train. So, dude, I have major beef with the Boilermaker fan base. In Michigan, it's just Merez. And it's not even Merez, it's his dad tweeting about Kofi.
Noah's out here trying to
That's what
fight.
I have beef with. And Juwan Howard when he slapped Greg Gard, because you can't just go around slapping coaches in the face just because you lose a basketball game. Sorry, bro. Hate to break it to you, but you can't do that.
My beef with Ed Cooley is still unmatched, but nonetheless,
Oh, that's third place for me. Yeah, Georgetown with Ed Cooley is third place for me as well. I hate them.
9-9 since 9-9 in the Big E or whatever the stat was. They're bullshit since they made that comment since he made that comment. But uh
They almost beat UConn the other night. They lost by 1 point, I think, to UConn.
honestly, I'm glad UConn beat him.
Yeah, so am I. So am I.
Nonetheless, we will have a recap for the Maryland game. I think most of that will just be kind of talking about how this team did without Kylan, whether win or lose, hopefully a win. But we will see you on the next episode. Stay tuned for more content ILL.
And